and it almost becomes a personalized session. So that works. And Karina, I know you're in that office, but yeah, when you can jump in, that will be great. I am actually going to start because we talked, Tatiana and I had the pleasure of doing some role play this morning. And Kate and Karina, I think these are great things for you guys as well as newer agents or just kind of jumping back into the business, Miss Karina. So I want to talk about that a little bit because Tatiana, that conversation this morning on role play, and these were for Facebook leads, so kind of pretty much cold leads. Did you find that helpful this morning?
Yes, very much.
Yeah. So tell me what you think the biggest thing that you walked away from that conversation.
First of all, the introduction part of it, how I was doing not wrong, but there's a better way to do it. And that's why I like to talk to more experienced agents, because a few things that work better than the things I have in my mind. So yeah, dropping off the word realtor is a big thing because I thought it had a different impact. But when you said, yeah, that's true. I would feel the same way. So that's one thing. And about not mentioning the specific address in the beginning and try to go from there. So yeah.
Yes, perfect. So if it's okay with you, I'm just going to relay some of that information. We won't dive super deep like we did today, Tatiana, but just to kind of throw out some of those things because I want you guys to convert at a super high level. What she's talking about is using the word realtor in your introduction when you make that call. Most people, their brains shut off. So what happens is when you look at some of the research, the word realtor or real estate agent sometimes it elicits almost the same response as car salesman. So that's actually a statistic that we are basically rated right under car salesmen for as far as trustworthiness, people liking us, all of that kind of stuff, which stinks. Yet that's just the way it is. So when you make that introduction, you very much want to open up that conversation, keep it vague because you want them to be curious to ask more questions. And then very much make sure they understand this is a courtesy call and you're just doing your job by following up on, but I usually say text, even though let's face it, it comes through Facebook and it's not necessarily text, but it just makes more sense to most people because they don't really understand sometimes that Facebook leads. So how I start that conversation, remember that first sentence or line is really kind of your first, are they going to listen? Are they going to hang up? And you know what? It's okay that 95% have zero interest. They don't even want to talk to you because really we have to keep the mindset. It's that 5% that you just happen to catch them at the right time and they need assistance. And so that's the big difference is yes, each time you make a call, the anticipation is most likely they don't need your help and that's okay. And it's nothing personal. Even if they're yelling at you, it's still nothing personal. It's more those people that suddenly like, you know what, I'm glad you called because I actually do need your assistance. Those are the people that you're looking to find. You're basically hunting, right? You're out there hunting, and you're looking for those particular people. Excuse me a second. All right. So couple things I want to give that I gave to her as well. And for those of you that just joined, we're kind of going over a little role play with leads because I had a previous conversation and I know it was super helpful. So I'm just going over that real quick. So one thing is the first time I dial, I double dial. What does that mean? Is that I call, I do not leave a message. I double dial and call 2 times in a row, one right after the other. And the reason I do that is because let's face it, a lot more people will pick up on the second call because they believe something's happening that's important. So like, okay, they called me twice. Let me go back. When people are using dialers and different things like that, that doesn't happen. So you're grabbing those people that you can double dial. You're not leaving a message anytime because that next day, when you go to call that next day, they go, okay, this person, the same person called me twice yesterday and they're calling me again. This is probably important. So they usually pick up. Your pickup rate is way higher. You should not be leaving messages because they're not going to call you back, or unless you leave a really good message. As I told Tatiana, maybe that third, fourth, fifth call, maybe you want to leave a message, but you're making it very vague and you're giving them a reason to call you back. So it's like, hey, I'm just returning your call or text, whichever. I'm returning your call on a property that you were interested in. So I wanted to give you that information. Make sure you call me back. Do you see, like, that's like, oh, wait a minute. I don't know what they're talking. Even if they don't know what you're talking about, they may like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, hey, but I got you to call me back. So there you go. So those are kind of the tips. And so if you guys, if I can see your face, that would be fantastic. It's just weird when I don't see everybody's faces. If you can't, I totally understand. But if you can jump on, that's okay. Hey, I got ponytail and no makeup today. So you guys can be the same. I'm okay with that. So it goes something like this. And Tatiana, do you want to role play with me again like this morning?
Sure.
Okay, well, let's do that. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, Tatiana. Is it, or actually, I forgot, I don't know who you are. Ring, ring. Let's try that again.
Hello.
Hi, is this Tatiana?
Yes.
Hi, Tatiana. My name is Debbie with Keller Williams, and I'm calling because I got your information from a text that you had inquired about a property, and I'm just giving you a courtesy call to provide you that information.
Okay.
So do you have any idea which property I'm talking about?
No, I clicked in so many properties because I've been looking for one.
Yes. Well, okay, that's fabulous. That's exactly why I'm calling. And I totally get that. Sometimes, especially with social media, we kind of click on things and it sends information and you don't know who you're calling. So I totally get that. Are you looking in the Orlando area?
Yeah, I'm looking in the Orlando area.
Okay, beautiful. And who do you have helping you with that purchase?
Yeah, I do have an agent right now, so.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I certainly don't want to step on any toes. Is that an agent that you are committed to?
Yes, she's been sending me a few things.
Okay, love it. Well, like I said, I always want to stay in culture and with the ethical, the positive ethical we have out there for realtors. And so I am going to let her do that job. But you know what? If anything changes, what I'd love you to do is just go ahead if you want to put Debbie Keller Williams or Debbie Realtor, if you want to put that in there, that would be fantastic. So if anything ever changes, that you give me a call. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I
Okay.
appreciate you calling.
You got it. Thanks for picking up the phone. Have a great day.
Thank you too.
You. Bye. Okay, so do you see how that's a little bit different where I'm staying vague? I don't have to dive deep into the property. Usually you're going to get the 3 questions that go like this, like, who are you? Who are you again? Hey, oh yeah, my name is Debbie. I'm a local real estate agent here over in Orlando, Florida. And I'm just actually calling because, you know, I want to do my job. I know the #1 complaint out there is realtors don't call back. And I did receive your information on an ad that I had on Facebook. So I just want to do my job and give you a call back. So again, courtesy call is a beautiful word, guys. People get, if they're angry or upset or annoyed, when you say courtesy call and I'm just doing my job, it elicits a whole different response in that. The other one I'll get is, yeah, why are you calling again? It's that same type of script. Hey, I didn't click on anything. I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, I get it. You know what? Social media is kind of a weird, creepy thing. And if you just happen to even accidentally click, it sends me your information. Do you happen to be looking for property in the Orlando area? So you can see I'm super real. I go with the flow. I listen. So is that helpful in getting those conversations started?
Very much.
Awesome.
Yes,
Cool.
yes.
Very cool, very cool. Okay, so let's jump in. I'm on page 217, everybody. And we've gone over all of the models. Now, of course, we focused on the economic model and the lead generation model because I know, a lot of you are just getting started. And so the budget model and organization model, although we touched on those things, isn't necessarily your focus. And I'm here, if you have something on those models, please jump up and ask me those questions. But I don't want to focus on it because I know really that I want you to nail that economic model. It is really the core of everything that we do and really all of the other models. So if nothing else, make sure you focus on that. And again, if you don't have a spreadsheet, Tatiana just sent that to her earlier. Let me know and I'm happy to send you that blank one because we're going to talk about it again, but more in the aspect of the listings needed today. So we're going to talk about that. Okay, so who can—
I don't have the sheet you're talking about.
I'm sorry, who was that?
You said page 17, open page 17.
Page 217.
200, which book?
The MREA, Millionaire Real Estate Agent.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yes, so page 217. Okay, so what we're looking at, guys, we're gonna start 4 models. Who can tell me what those 4 models are in the book and Keller Williams models? Who can tell me what those 4 models are?
Economic model.
Yes, yeah, shout them out. You don't have to know all 4. Economics 1. Hey, I even just mentioned 2 of them. Hint, hint.
Lead generation.
Yes, there's 2. Oh, come on. Let's talk money. Money. What's that one?
Is it leverage?
No.
Financial, finance.
So budget is 1. And actually leverage, it's really organization model, but that's focused on leverage. So yes, write those down. I will not allow you guys to leave this book club without knowing your 4 models. Economic, of course, that's your core. That's knowing what GCI you want to get to, how many appointments that's going to take, and how many closings that's going to take. Super important. Budget, that's all the money that's coming in, is making sure you're following the models of how much you should be spending within your business and for your operating expenses in order to maximize profit. Lead generation, that's how many people you should be talking to and how many people that you need in your database to reach your goals. Most people, whether it's their METs or not METs, that's how we figure out, do we have enough people in our database to reach our goals? That's lead generation model, because it also talks about how many people you need to be adding. Organization, like Kate said, that's really your leverage. And remember, that can be your photographer, that can be your TC, that can be your stager. There's many ways that we leverage. There's also systems and tools. So lots of places for the organization model, which, by the way, I'm going to mention this again. Remember, that's changed a little bit as we roll into 2021 here. It's not the same that it was when this book was written. So we've mentioned, some of those tweaks and updates as we move forward. The basic models are completely the same. What's changed is the numbers. The other thing that has changed is prospecting based and marketing enhanced. And this comes up in this chapter again, where it talks about marketing based, prospecting enhanced. The difference, marketing, of course, is passive. That's usually spending the money, sending things out to your database, where prospecting is your active, your calls, your texts, your drop-bys, all of that good stuff. So now, these days that has changed. You need to be prospecting based, marketing enhanced. You need to have more activity. Okay, super important to understand. Any questions on all of that? All right, page 217. So actually the first line I have highlighted because I think it's super important. The thought of big success is exciting. The thought of the challenges that might be encountered along the way to big success can be frightening. Anybody feeling that? Raise your hand if you're feeling that. Yeah, believe it or not, guys, even the biggest agents have something called fear of success. Like, we hear a lot about fear of failure, fear of the unknown, right? But believe it or not, there is a thing called fear of success. What do you think that looks like? What's that surrounded around?
Limiting beliefs.
Limiting beliefs, absolutely. That's one of them for sure. What else? And just shout them out.
Maybe be afraid that you won't handle it properly. You won't do the things that people expect you to do.
Yes, you nailed it. You nailed it. Exactly. What happens is, ooh, I don't want to lead generate anymore because I'm so busy. I don't think I can handle it. I don't have enough time. I'm so stressed and burnt out that I don't want to get any bigger. I don't want to build a team that seems so stressful. Okay, fear of success. I am one of those people for sure that I will take my foot off the gas because I'm afraid of the chaos that it creates. Oh my gosh, what if I don't have time for my family? What if I'm one of those workaholic people? What if I never stop working? So that's a real thing, guys. So I want you to think about that sometimes when you start like, I don't want to do that. Determine if that's from fear or if that's just really not what you want. It doesn't mean it can't be there, but make sure you're doing a double check on that. If you knew that it was going to work out and you'd have enough time and be okay, is that truly what you want? Okay, because we all have the other fails, the fear of failure and the fear of the unknown. That's scary. So what we're really going to be addressing today is that fear of unknown, of addressing the 16 most common pitfalls, because if you know what could possibly come up, maybe you're more prepared to do that, or again, it just doesn't become an unknown. You know, you're just like most real estate agents that fall into these pitfalls and you have a solution and you fix it. Is that fair?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. So jumping over to page 218, they actually talk about that. They have a little quote top of page 218 where it says, when I get clear, I lose my fear. When I get clear, I lose my fear. Write that down, highlight it, because this goes into so many aspects of what we do every single day. Okay, so it's not just about this. This goes into your life. Like when you have a day that's absolutely insane, writing it down, putting down your to-do list, that sort of thing, and getting clear on what you really want. You've heard clarity is power a million times. That can really help you get through the day or get through some really tough times. For instance, I had one of our agents who has a pretty tough client who had a license. So, you know, they come back with all of the information that they know and don't really know. And so that becomes a challenge for a newer agent because they keep getting challenged. And when we sat and we role played through it of, hey, shoot questions at me, let's talk about this. When you get clear on what you need to say and understand what your end goal is, then you start to lose that fear, okay, and push forward. Super important on that. Okay, page 219, the issues in between earning $1 million and net $1 million. And listen, I don't want you guys to freak out and think $1 million, that's not me, so this doesn't pertain to me. I don't care if that's $50,000. I don't care if it's $100,000. If this is new to you, it's still scary. And the issues that you have between grossing $1 million, that means earning $1 million. Another word for that is grossing $1 million, is netting $1 million. Okay, insert whatever you'd like there. What is the difference in real estate? That figure, guys, is everything. You should copy it and put it up in your room. Wherever you spend the most time lead generating, I want you to read through this every single time because these are the pitfalls. This is everything. Read through it. Lead, sustaining solid lead generation program, tracking, protecting your time. These are the things that we're going to go over. So this is very much what this entire chapter is about. These are the pitfalls. These are the things you need to check yourself. If you don't know what your job is as a real estate agent, especially those coming from a corporate world with a structured job, this is your job. It's not showing homes. Okay, this is your job. And of course, building relationships has to go within that. Leads, listings, leverage. Those are the 3 L's we talk about all the time. Money and you. We are the problem many of the times, or at least we are the ones who are stopping ourselves. So that is an incredible, incredible thing. Easy for you because it's relevant just as much today as it is when it was written. So let's get started on page 220, leads. Okay, we have not had one class where leads is not mentioned, guys. Number 1, sustaining a solid lead generation program that emphasizes marketing and consistently increases the number of leads. What word is going to replace the word marketing?
Prospecting.
Thank you, Marina. I knew, I'm like, she's going to jump all over that. Yes. Mark that out. It's prospecting. That emphasizes prospecting. The other word I want you to circle, highlight, consistently. Guys, consistently. That is the number 1 issue with people, with agents, lead generation programs. Oh, I tried that for a month. Let me try this. I just saw this agent do this, which I think is pretty cool. I'm going to go do that, right? It's really difficult for us to put blinders on and just do what we know that we're good at. Listen, it doesn't mean that we're not tracking ROI and making sure that it doesn't need tweaks, or maybe it's just not our thing and we're not being our authentic, true selves of what we're good at. But we really need to have blinders. If you get really worked up when you're on Facebook and you see all of these agents doing these amazing things, and you start to get that little green monster, right? The envy monster. Shut it off, guys. Stop following them. Okay? It would be silly for me to say I haven't done it. Now, this is of course before TL, because now I want everybody to succeed and that's fantastic. But in my real estate business, it would kind of mess with me, right? It would mess with my head a little bit. I've seen agents like, oh, I'm on my 15th closing and sitting here loving it. And I'm like, well, okay, I've lost 4 deals this month. And so I would unfollow. It doesn't mean I don't love you. It just means it's messing with my mind. And that's not okay in my business. So don't hesitate to do that. Don't feel bad if you need to shut that off, because it can. So under that particular number 1, the biggest challenge you will face in building your sales business to a high level is continuing to focus on lead generation, no matter how many leads you have or how busy you become. Right now, I see it happening, guys, again and again. Everybody is very busy. That doesn't mean productive. They're busy, especially with the way the market is in the buyers. And so what is the first thing that goes when we get busy, chaos, emergencies, all of that happen? What's the first thing that goes?
We stop lead generating.
Absolutely. That fear of success creeps in like nobody's business and goes, oh my gosh, I can't handle any more leads or follow up. I'm dying with whatever's happening. And that is a huge mistake. That is the roller coaster that you will be on. And many of us, no matter how successful you are, will someday look up and go, oh my goodness, I have no closings. And that's a tough thing. We look at our whiteboards, those scoreboards that I've talked about, guys, and what should be on your scoreboard. We look up and there's nothing on there. And that is scary. And that's why. That's why usually everybody's first quarter struggles, because what happens in November and December?
Holidays.
Maybe I've had a good year and I'm done. Well, what happens? Your first quarter, you struggle. Your second quarter, luckily, you start to kind of catch up. That fourth quarter, you nail it. And November, December, you stop lead generating. You have to stop doing that. It says once a high number of leads is being generated, there's a tendency to settle for that number and then devote more time to energy on serving your business. Happens all the time. So there are things that you need to be doing to protect that time. It better be in your schedule. Okay, ready? I'm ready for an honesty check here. If I were to look at everybody's schedule today, because you've time blocked, because I know we've talked about it, you've time blocked. If I were to look at your schedule today, would there be a lead generation or relationship forming or whatever call care or care calls, whatever you want to call it? If I look at your calendar right now, is it scheduled in every day? Raise your hand if it's in there for me.
Yeah, it is there.
Good, good. Okay, so if it's not, that is your first part of homework. Get in there, guys. And hey, I'm not going to ask you to do something that I don't do. So I want to show you something. Let's see. Let me make sure I share the right thing for you because I already always have 55 windows open. I'll be honest. Here we go. All right, guys. My calendar. Hopefully, can you guys see my calendar okay? My calendar is completely color coded and done every single week. And if you guys say like, I don't really need that, I'm not that busy, not that true. If you don't time block, it won't happen because let's face it, lead generation is the least amount of activity that people want to do. So we always find something else to do. But if you look at my calendar, it is completely color coded between personal, my team leader job, my real estate business, education. There's all kinds of things in here. And of course, my meetings with all of you guys, my coaching sessions, all of that is in here. Now, lead generation, it will say care calls. Now I'm very specific on what my lead generation is going to be. Now, lead generation as a team leader is what? What is my lead generation? Is two separate things. What
Recruiting. Recruiting?
Yes, although it's like recruiting outside and it's also getting referrals from you guys, right? So I have 2 points that I have to make sure, but I have to add value and earn that right and earn those referrals from you. So you'll see things like agent care calls. I check in with the agents, say congrats. It's time blocked, guys, not because it's like, oh, she just does that for a referral. No, because it's so important to me. I don't want to miss it. And so if it's not important to you, then it won't be in your calendar. If lead generation and building your business is important to you, it better be in your calendar. So I'm not asking you to do anything that I myself would not do. If you're not fully calendared, and by the way, for my agents, you should have in there listing appointment, I don't know, depending on your goals, every day I put in, I would have like listing appointment open, listing appointment open, listing appointment open. Again, whether that's 2 a week, 1 a day, whatever that looks like, you should have that already calendared out. So when you're having a conversation, you go, great, I have Tuesday at 1 or Friday at 3. Which one works best for you? I'm not asking them when they're available. I'm not asking them like, when would you like me to come over? That's what creates your chaos, guys. That's what stops your lead generation because you're creating chaos in your schedule. That's your fault. You're the professional because you have it time blocked. You have your listing appointments. I always say listing, even though sometimes it's buyer, right? I already have those time blocked. So as I start to fill my calendar, I know exactly when my open spots are. And if they go, you know, actually none of those work for me. Oh, okay, let me see what I can do. What are you thinking? Morning or afternoon, which day? Because let me see if I can move something, but I give them an option of my schedule first. Does that make sense? Awesome. All right, page 221. Okay, we talked about the little roller coaster that you could be on. Again, you'll see in that really second paragraph where it talks about systematic, consistent, and sustained. Those are the 3 things that 90% of the agents are not doing. So you need to be part of the 10%. Systematic, consistent, and sustained. Now, in that paragraph at the bottom where it talks about marketing versus prospecting, I put a big wrong, okay, because that's been updated. Like I said, it's prospecting based, marketing enhanced, super, super important. It still talks about database, that hasn't changed. More than ever, our database is the most important thing to us, guys. With everything happening in the real estate industry changing, cold calls, not that they're going away, but there's a lot more legal stuff behind it. We really, really have to focus like never before on that. Okay, page 222. We are on number 2, tracking. So we, as an MREA book club, put together a tracking form with of course, I want to look at the end of this and we'll do some tracking analysis. If you don't know, I love numbers and graphs and all of that fun stuff to be able to tell you where some bottlenecks may be in your business. So if you haven't filled that out in a while, get back to it. I will send you the link. If you don't have it, just text me and say, can you resend me the link? You should be tracking at least. Now, if you're on a team, that sort of thing, and you're tracking something different, that's fantastic. But I want you tracking 5 things. And I'm going to mention them again for anybody that's has missed it. 1 is number of contacts. That's not dials. That's 2-way contact. That can be text, it can be Facebook Messenger, but it is a 2-way conversation about real estate. I don't care if it's 95% personal and 5% real estate. I'm okay with that too. So number of contacts. Number 2 is how many people that I've added to the database, or what we call new Mets. So maybe it's somebody in my database that called me, yet I haven't been able to get in touch with them. Once I have that conversation, that now becomes a Met. So people added to the database or new Mets, however you want to take a look at that, just be consistent throughout the process, because especially for my newer agents, you should be building your database at all times. People will go away, you'll lose people. You have to continually fill that bucket. Okay. The third thing is appointments. Number of appointments. Those are new appointments. Don't be counting a new buyer that you see every day. That's not cool. Number 4 is agreements. That's both buyer agreements and listing agreements. If you don't get buyer agreements signed, which by the way, these days is more important than ever to get a buyer agreement signed, that's okay. If you're working with them and you're actively showing them property, that's considered an agreement. Number 5, of course, is under contract. Those are the 5 things that I want you tracking. Notice I don't say closing. It's because that's a lagging factor. That's a result. Okay, so get back to your tracking form on that. Tracking and converting leads through others. That's what this is talking about. Most of you don't have teams. If you have teams, what this is talking about is making sure that you lead generate together, especially when you're all going towards one goal. It's super important. Now, Kate, I know you're on a team, so it's really important that you guys all have one vision, one goal. Super important for that. So I'm going to give you an example, guys. I want to know, how many times have you heard there's no listings out there? There's no listings. I can't get listings. It's just like everybody else. Forget it. There's no listings. Who's heard that? Raise your hand for me. Yep, right? Messes with your mind a little bit. Well, there's a team that had a goal before really the listings were even tougher than ever before. They started a goal. They started to prep for this goal back in October of 2020. And their program started in January 1. And they had the goal of listing 30 properties in 90 days. Okay, which was basically triple their goal of anything they had done before. I went through the program with them because I've done it several times in my business and I teach it as well. I went through that program and they did take the steps to prepare, because it is not something you take lightly, because it is prep. When you triple your business, you need to be prepared. So they did. They took those months to prepare. They started January 1. And they are now at 26 listings out of 30 with 2 weeks to go. But let me tell you,
Kendrick, right?
you got
Kevin?
it. Yes. So let me tell you, when you tell me there's no listings, I'm going to tell you 26 listings in 90 days. Now you might say to me, oh, they have a team. They're a big team. Yes, but 26 listings means there was 26 pieces of business out there of people that wanted to list. So when you tell me there's no listings, I'm going to tell you, not so. You're just not getting your fair share of the listings out there. Okay, so whenever you hear there's no listings, is it tougher? Yes, but don't tell me there's no listings out there, because 26 listings in 90 days is pretty darn amazing. And what this is talking about of converting leads through others, that's because they were all working towards one goal. Even the buyer's agents were not having conversations around buyers. They were having conversations around what?
Sellers.
Sellers, listings, which by the way, that doesn't mean they agreed with that at the very beginning. Although they agreed to do it, there was some pushback on that. Well, I'm a buyer's agent. I don't even get to list. So why would I lead generate around listings? Tell me why they would do that.
Double-sided deal, maybe to the buyer to bring somebody and then have
Yeah, not only that, especially in this market, the listings is bringing 2 to 5 ready, willing, and able buyers to your team. So now he is a believer. That buyer's agent is a believer because now he's almost doubled his business through that 90 days because of the listings. He is now a believer. So when you're all working towards one front, that can be an amazing, amazing thing. So yes, if you're on a team or if you have a team, that's a great way to think about it. Circle your conversations around listings and the buyers will come in this market. Super, super important. Any questions on that? On that program, anything like that? Awesome. I want you guys to remember, especially when you're feeling overwhelmed with leads and buyers. One way to think about not lead generating, not following up, not getting those 19 touches in before you kind of give up on a lead. I tell people to imagine one thing, money burning, because whether you like to think about it or not, each lead comes with a tag. It comes with a dollar amount of how much it costs to generate, because you average out between all leads. When you don't follow up, you drop a lead, you are throwing money out the window. So I want you to imagine it burning, because let's say you do have too many leads. It can happen, or you can't follow up. What should you do?
Either ask for help or put them on like a drip thing, like email or text.
Yes, so ask for help, definitely. Get some leverage on how you could follow up with leads appropriately. There's one more big word I'm thinking of, especially for my single agents who are struggling and because they're busy. What should they be doing with more leads that are coming in than they can handle?
Showing assistance.
Showing assistant is a great one. Yes, we've got a lot going to roll out on showing assistance here is coming up. There's one more big R word.
referrals.
Refer. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, guys, I know we hate to think about it. Oh, I'm giving up that lead. No, you refer it. It's better than it getting dropped. Make 25% of that and be done with it. It's way better than it being dropped. Okay, way better than it being dropped. Refer it. There's a ton of people in here that would be happy to help you. Who would be happy to receive that? Right? Yeah, right. So refer it. Super important. All right, number 3, protecting your lead generation focus time. And it's funny, Mr. Lawrence just logged in at right the perfect time. Love you, Lawrence, because I know this is something he and I talk about quite a bit. Okay, protecting your lead generation and focus time. Like we said, there's all kinds of stuff going on in the background. There are buyers that need to speak to you ASAP. Your listing's blowing up. Your appraisal just came in low. Somebody's knocking at your door. Debbie's knocking on your door to tell you about a class coming up. Whatever that is, you should be protecting your lead generation focus time. If you go by Ernie's office, you'll see a sign like don't during these hours, don't come in when I've got my door closed. Don't bother me. I'm lead generating. I've seen people put signs on their back. Don't talk to me right now because I'm lead generating. You're messing with my family's money right here. Do not tap me on the shoulder, because most of us are very easy to distract. And especially when it's lead generation time, we're very easy to distract. But when you are so focused on the goal, you have to take the additional steps that may seem silly, yet they make sense. Get your water, get your snacks, go to the bathroom, stop giving your excuses to leave and get up during that lead generation time. Shut off your phone if you need to, get a landline, whatever that looks like, get off of Facebook, log out, make yourself figure out a password, whatever it takes, you need to protect that lead generation time. Build a bunker. Put that in your notes, write that down. Build a bunker. Seems silly, yet I can promise you it makes a huge difference in your business. Whatever you think will work, Lawrence, when you have admin, you tell them, do not let me get distracted. And the minute you see me getting distracted, get me right back. We empowered our admin, especially as a team, before the TL job. We would have fun. We would laugh, whatever. And it was like, we empowered her to go, nope, get back, do what you need to do. And we would actually have a whiteboard, and each one of us would have to put a tick with each conversation we had to make it visual. Because I don't want you to tell me you got your 20 contacts when we know darn well you got 5. Because when you have that tick mark, it brings about a whole different level of accountability in there. Okay, it's a great way to do that together. Any questions? And listen, if it's just you, that's okay too. You have a kid, a spouse, your friend, whatever that takes to say, listen, I need you to hold me accountable to making 10, 15, 20 contacts a day. I have to send you a picture every single day of my tick marks. And if I don't send it, I'm going to give you some ideas that we did for sure. Then I owe you lunch. I might owe you 5 lunches by the end of the week. We used to do it where David Frazier and I were accountability partners. We would have to pay one another $100 cash. If we did not get our contacts in each week, we would meet and have to pay each other $100. One time, David Frazier even wrote a $1,000 check to me, to Bringing Home Grace, actually my charity, and said, if I do not send you my contacts every single day, you may cash this check. That is accountability. It's not
Did you
talk.
cash the check?
I still have that check, by the way. I still have that check and I never cashed it. So unless he was super, by the way, guys, look what I got. Okay, wait, that's got his account number. Here we go. This is his $1,000 check. I'm not telling you stuff. My wallet just happened to be sitting here. I still have that check. Now that has gone by the wayside, yet I still have that check, guys. It's made out to Bringing Home Grace. So if you want true accountability and you're ready to, what Tony Robbins say, would burn the boats. I won't include the F word that he uses, but if you truly want accountability and you truly have a big goal and a big why around it, then that's the kind of that it looks like. So Lawrence, I'm talking to you. Start taking Jackie to lunch and write that check, my friend.
Okay.
He's like, uh-oh, I hope Jackie's cheering in the back. Ooh, ooh. All right, so let's move on. Oh, on page 225, I want to kind of highlight one word on there, which is probably going to stick out on the page, CEO. Many of you don't realize you are a CEO of your business. You are that CEO. Stop thinking of, I'm just a real estate agent. I'm a real estate agent. You are a CEO of a real estate business. Totally different feel. We've talked about what your job is. Lead generation, lead follow-up should be there every single day. If you know that's the most important thing, then how in the world can you just skip it and feel great at the end of your week? Just think, guys, if you had somebody working for you as the CEO of your business, and that was their number one most important thing to you, and they came and told you, oh, I had a seller call, I had this happen, I had that happen, how would you feel about that? If you're paying them $1,000 a day because they're worth it, but they told you, you know, that most important thing you told me to do, couldn't quite get to it. Everything else got in the way. How you feeling about that now? How you feeling? because guess what? That's you. Many of you make easily $1,000 a day, yet you're not doing your job. Would you be firing yourself? Start thinking about it a little bit different. Think about that money burning. Think about you firing you because you're not doing your most important thing every single day. Okay? 226. Discovering what works and what doesn't work. I mentioned this a little bit at the bottom of the page of 226. It says, so many agents do spur of the moment, idea of the month, marketing and prospecting. We already talked about shut off the noise, be consistent, do the same thing every single day. When you start something new, whatever that looks like, database guys, you can never stop that. So you don't get to do that. But let's say you want to farm a neighborhood or you want to start door knocking or whatever. How long do you believe that you need to do that lead generation strategy before you decide it's not working? How long should you do that?
At least 90 days.
Yes, at least 90 days of consistent, the same thing over and over. Now, I would even challenge that to say a minimum of 6 months, minimum. If you're doing postcards or mailing, I would go even farther to 12 months. That is something, especially in all the noise, that you don't necessarily start to see the fruits of your money, because it's really money, not labor, for 12 months. So if you're farming and you're doing something like that, it needs to be super high touch. You need to do the research first to make sure you're choosing the right group of people, whatever that is. Okay. You want to do the research behind that, make sure there's lots of turnover, make sure there's not a main agent just scooping up all the business who lives in the community. Like, set yourself up right, do the proper research, and you want to do something for 12 months. The beauty is also in that first 4 to 6 months, you want to mail them twice a month, not once, because every other agent is mailing it once and every other agent is dropping the out-of-state owners. That is the worst mistake you can make. If you are mailing to people and you're taking, well, it's cheaper to not mail the out-of-state, that is the biggest mistake you can make, because what happens is you're saving maybe $40, $50 and you're handing away probably $20,000 to $30,000 coming back to you. Usually, remember, the out-of-state owners, because most agents don't mail to them and because they don't have relationships anymore with people in the area. So guess what? You have a lot better chance of converting an out-of-state owner than you do in-state. So twice a month, because guess what? That makes you stand out. And even being annoying, which I'm okay, that type of top of mind share they talk about, that's how you do that. And you can mail that same postcard 2 months in a row, then update it 2 months in a row. You have to get mind share, which means you have to be in their face. I don't care if they throw it away, they throw it away, they looked. So do something that's different. Don't just send a picture of the house. Nobody will remember your name. You should be on the front of that postcard with your name nice and big. Because even if they glance at it, good, they see my name. That's all I care about. I don't care if they read it. I don't care if they respond, although I always have a call to action. I want them to see my name and my face every single time. I would go to homes and they would have 50 of my postcards saved. It took them 2.5 years to call me. And I'm okay with that because I have a stack of cards. And they were like, okay, it was annoying, I'm going to admit, but you clearly wanted the job. That's right, I wanted the job. So whatever you're working, give it time, track your return on investment. And know that one postcard doesn't necessarily do the job. You got to follow up. You got to do other things involved in the community. Okay, farming includes not just mailing, it includes lots of things, whether it's going to the HOA meetings, whether it's sponsoring an event in your neighborhood, bringing hot dogs and soda at one of the pool party, asking the HOA if you can sponsor something, including a newsletter. Okay, That's what really starts to turn you around and makes you the agent of choice for that community. Okay, so let's go on to page 228. Knowing the minimum number of seller listings you must list each month. Okay, I want to make sure we go through this. And I'm going to share the economic model. Those of you who have the economic model spreadsheet, you should all have it. Again, I don't need you to be a numbers magician because the spreadsheet does it for you. There's my calendar. Let me move my window. Okay, you should all recognize this. This is my economic model. And you see the tab I'm on is economic model. Okay, let's just do a real quick. Okay, let's say I want $4,000 come in. This is gonna auto populate. I've got my average price point. I've got my average commission. I'm at 50. This is actually 50-50. So I'm equaling buyers and sellers. It's telling me I need 14 closings, 7 sellers sold, 7 buyers sold, okay? Again, if you don't have this, we've gone through it. This has everything that you need. I put in 15% as the cost of sale, 15% operating expense. This calculates it for me. It tells me how many appointments I need each month. Now, it doesn't tell me how many listings I need to have active at all times in this current market. Every market is slightly different. So all I do is toggle over here, listings needed. Okay, I already know it's telling my number of closed transactions to reach my CGI goal for the year. Economic model, we see here it has 14. It's saying 13 up here, which it took from the previous because it's probably a 6 point something, which rolled over to 13. That's why, guys, it's rounding. Okay, it's auto calculating here. I'm saying it's 50% because we already said I'm here. I'm 50% listings, 50% buyers. So I've got 50%. Listen, I have 85% listing sell. We know these days that's probably closer to 90. So all I do is go up here. I can change that to 90. Oh, I don't know what I did there. Undo, go away. Uh-oh. There we go. So 90%, I changed that right up here. Average days on market. Let's face it, 14, maybe for your average listing. These days, I don't know, what would be your average right now? What would you say your average days on the market is right now?
5 days.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. So 5 days, because that usually means you're going to need more listings or less listings. It just depends. So there's your average turnover rate. And also I want multiply the number of your goal plus 10% fallout. That's correct. 90%. Divide the listings needed to close by the percentage of listings sold. So that shows you now. That shows you don't need many listings that in this if you have one listing. But let's go back and let's bump this up to where if you're running really big business, 7,000. Okay, now I need 24 closings, 12 and 12 listings needed at all times. We're going to multiply this by 10. Okay, and when you go through this, this is going to show you average turnover rate divide, let's just say 10. Maybe you've got some vacant land listings in there at all times. And the longer you put it on here, 45, you can see it bumps up. So the thing is, guys, what this tells you is you don't need to have that many listings active in order to get the job done. What you should be searching for in this, even with 24 and 5 days on the market, is you should just have one active listing at all time. That's why this is a crazy market. And all those people who are saying like, oh, there's not enough listings. Hey, you don't need that many listings in order to reach your goal at 23 closings. In a normal market, guys, the average days on the market is 70 days. Even that's a nice, strong market. So instead of the 0.2, you'd need 3 active listings at all times. That's what I'm telling you, is that we think it's so difficult and it doesn't work because there's nothing available. You don't need that many active to hit your goal because we know it's gonna sell. 90% is gonna sell. So that's part of your homework, guys. Go and figure out how many listings you need to get. I would suggest, even though let's face it, most things sell within 5 days. Days on market, I would do a minimum of 10, but look and see what your average days on the market is and play with this number and see what that is. Because I'm going to ask you of how many listings do you or your team need in order to reach your goal. You can tweak these if you're more listing based or more buyer based. You can tweak this number depending on what your particular model looks like. And I want you to get clarity around how many listings that you need at all times. Some of you might be quite surprised, especially in this kind of market. Any questions on this? All right, cool. Okay, so as we, who would you email me? Yes. I've got your direct messages. Yes, I will make sure you have that. So here's what I'm going to end on. You guys see here, we are on page 230, which talks about number of listings that you need every month. This also just talks a little bit about for sale by owners, because we're in that particular market where for sale by owners are coming in like crazy, and we're having to work with a lot of for sale by owners. We don't have the time to get into that now, but if you were not at the team meeting, make sure that you jump on and watch it. Now, I don't know if you've watched it, Karina. We had a power outage of the entire building in the middle of the meeting. 2 power outages. Yes, it kept going out. Karina had her phone, so it might be a little funky. And hopefully, Rob, you could hear him most of the time. You don't necessarily have to worry about seeing him. He is a huge Maps Bold coach and one of the best for sale by owner listers I've ever seen. Catch that. He's got some incredible scripts, and he gives you a website that you can go to download those for sale by owner scripts. I think they are fantastic. They've always stuck with me out of all of the things I heard. So if you don't, make sure, Karina, can you make sure that team meeting gets posted, or maybe we should watch it first to make sure you can still see it. But I would definitely catch him. If you are also struggling with listings, Bold is coming up. It's new. Like, what is Bold? Bold is basically Ignite on steroids. It's for those people that have kind of gotten over that intro to real estate, and now they're really ready to make it happen. There are brand new agents that take Bold all the time, but it is meant to push you. It is meant to be a stressor. You will be placed on a team, and there is fun competition, and there is accountability like nobody's business. So it is Ignite on steroids, and it's fantastic. And most of that will focus on listings and database. So if you haven't signed up, it starts April 6th. See Karina to sign up for that. It is virtual, yet it's not like the last Bold where it was this weird webinar. That's not Bold. I'm gonna be honest. It wasn't great. It wasn't my favorite. However, this is the real Bold. It is virtual, but you're on teams. You're gonna be in breakout sessions. You get to be team captains. It is really fun, and Rob Daniels is going to be there live where we can shoot questions at them. It's going to be a whole different experience. It's up to 180 people, so tickets are going fast because they don't want too many people where it just becomes too hard to manage. So that is one thing. It is $399. However, I'm going to talk about incentives, but it starts April 6th. It's every Tuesday for 6 weeks from 9 to 12. Again, online, virtual, from 9 to 12 every Tuesday, 6 weeks, $399. Yet your office and your owner says that every pending you get and every listing you get during the time of Bold, from the time that you register all the way till the end of Bold, you will get $100 rebate with each closing that you set up during Bold. So most people get their 4 in. So that's 4 closings that you need to get your money back and make $1. So totally worth it. If you haven't done it, 16 transactions. 16 transactions is the average that a bold agent will do. And yes, that means this virtual bold. They just did Texas. He said 16 average closings. Okay. So it does make a difference. And sometimes it's just the accountability portion. It's making you show up. It's that push that you may need. So that's my spiel for bold. I promise I'm not going to be all over you to sign up. I hope you do. I hope you see the value. If you have any questions, grab the leadership team. Thank you guys for showing up. I love that more and more showed up. If you missed a class or you want to go back, Karina has those all on the YouTube channel, and I will see you again next week. Oh, I don't want to miss out of give me an aha. This is one of my favorite parts because I love to see what you grabbed. Give me 3 ahas, just shoot it out. And that just means something that you wrote down, something that you love. Shout them out to me.
The number.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, so
Oh, what?
have the
Oh,
list
geez.
and buyer appointments blocked, even though you don't have that, but have that blocked, and that's what you offer.
Yes. And what do you do if you don't have a listing, if you get to that day, you don't have a listing appointment? What does that mean? If you have it time blocked, what does that mean you should be doing?
Lead generating.
Yes. Either lead generating, lead follow-up, or go view a property, go to an open house, go shadow something. So it doesn't mean you get the time out. It means do something else that could be done instead of an appointment. What else you got? Thank you, Tatiana. What you got, Marina?
No, what I was going to say is consistency when it comes to lead generating. I was talking to a coach this week, and he said that all the agents will have the same issue. We're not consistent when we're lead generating. So yeah, just the bunker that you said, just I don't know, even if it has to be the car, that's for me sometimes, like, so nobody can talk to me. So yeah, I would say consistency when lead generating.
Yes, my mama and daddies that have babies, sometimes we got to go where we got to go. I've had many conversations in my closet. It just happens. That's the way it works. Yes, that consistency. And it's a no excuses attitude, which Marina, I know for a fact you definitely have. It's a no excuses, burn the boats type of attitude for sure. One more, and then let's get on with our day.
That you have to think of yourself as your own CEO. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
go ahead.
perfect. I'll take 2 more. Kate, yes, think of yourself as your own CEO. Kate, even on the team, you are still the CEO of your business. And your job right now, one of your big jobs, is learning how to build your own team someday, if that's what you want, or how to build a big business. Yes, you are the CEO. All right, did I have one more shout out?
Taking at least 6 months for your marketing before you give it up.
Yes, don't give up too soon. It takes people a lot of times. And sometimes you have to, timing is everything, guys. They may not need anything now. 6 months from now, when they've seen your face, they're like, yeah, I remember this guy, I don't know, Lawrence, Leonard, something like that. He keeps sending me postcards. Let me check him out. So yes, thank you guys so much. Thank you for shouting out. You got it. See you next week.
Thank you, Debbie. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.